right, here we go. We're starting right here. All right, here we go. We're at the Pass Lake trailhead for Cuberant and Camas Lakes. Wow. Pretty metal here. That Baldy, and good name better than I yeah, pretty metal. There's some thunder. All right, here we are. We can go to the right to Camas Lake, which is only 0.4 or another mile and a half. And we've gone exactly a mile and a half right now. So Cuberant Lake is a 3-mile hike up. Okay, we're gonna head to Cuberant this time. We just made that climb right here. That's the steepest part so far. And there's Bald Mountain and the Twinner there. And that's down to the Weaver River there, right there. So really this is the head of the Weaver River right here, I believe, some of it. Going level for a while, now we're gonna end up going back down again. And then back up again. So this does have some elevation changes. And there's some rocks under here. Looking down there toward like Smith and Morehouse area, probably. Just came down from there and now we're hiking right across here down to the lake. Little pond here. All right, here we are to Cuberant Lake number 1. I guess it's so labeled. So we're still about a half mile away from the lake, at least the middle of it. Not a lot of camp spots around this lake.
To go to other schools?
Yeah, we are. This is Cuberant Lake. Here we are, Cuberant Lake. 3 hours. Or no, it's 3 o'clock. Alright, we made it to the lake in about 2 hours and 5 minutes. And sun's coming up. We get a little threatening, but then it goes away. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. We found a little camp right here as we got to the lake and just come up to the left up a little trail. But we're going to scope out and see if we can find another camp or two that might have a little more level ground and such. Just got a little spot here and a little spot over there and a nice big fireplace and lots of rocks to sit on. So we'll see what we got. Probably find another one though. 2 hours and 17 minutes. We got to the lake in about 2 hours and 5 minutes. 2.9 miles, average speed is 1.6. And we've had some 731 feet of ascent and 423 feet of descent. and we're at an elevation of 10,450 feet. Temperature's mild as can be, nice. I did leave my puffy jacket back at the car, thinking it was my other puffy jacket, so hopefully it doesn't get too cold tonight in the morning, but we'll live and learn. All right, well, we'll check back in a little bit after we find our final camping spot. Got some people over here on the water. We're gonna walk around this side of the lake and see what we can see. And then we headed up to the left of the trail, and we found this spot. Lots of places to put tents and stuff. You have a lot up here actually, but we're gonna kind of head around here. All right, here comes the hailstones coming down. Not very wet, but big old white things hitting the ground. Tents are holding up. Now we had a little storm come in, didn't last more than 20 minutes or 15. Went in our tents and rested in there and read a book or two, and now the sun's coming out. It's gonna be a beautiful night. Just coming down here to check out the lake, and got a slight breeze. Looks like I got the trail right here, the main trail. So we're just up above here, but we're gonna come down here and take a gander at the lake. All right, the lake is way down. It could be a lot higher. I could be standing in the water right here, but it's way down right now, this time of the year. And it's a little chilly. Wish I had my puffy jacket on, so I'm not dressed real warm tonight. But the fire restrictions have been lifted this weekend, so we'll get a little campfire going and have a great night. Go eat some light supper and be to bed around 8 o'clock. It'll be dark, starting to get dark at 8 o'clock. All right, we're up out of bed at 7 o'clock, got a fire growing. Didn't get my tent configured exactly right before I slept in it last night. Couple tricks is you need to make your poles, your tent poles, the maximum length they need to be. So right here I've got this tent pole, the maximum, the distance between the little grommet hole down here and that thing right up here at the top. That tends to make the part in the middle to stay as high as it can be. Right now you can see it's gone down. The other thing is to make sure you got these guy wires here on the sides lifting up the sides or the ends, so your head's not hitting
where your feet's not hitting the tent sides, because it can really get a lot of moisture on the inside of the tent. And then if you don't have those up, then those little windows on the ends aren't there, and they help it breathe. So having that breathing on the end windows is important too. So those are some of the tricks as far as this tent. Not letting these be down on the ground, but pulling that up so it can breathe. Just a couple tricks. I had one little hole in my Helix chair, and when I wasn't watching and I left the chair here and I was doing something, the fire was spitting off things, and now I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little holes. So you gotta really be careful with these dang chairs. Alright, it's warmed up to like 40 degrees here. It was 36 when I had to land on the rock and getting out of bed this morning. Even though it's chilly, I'm very comfortable in my fleece shirt without my puffy jacket that I left in the back of the car. Oh well.
Alright, we're just finishing up our night at Cuberant Lake. We had a good night. It was 36 degrees when we woke up this morning. It wasn't that cold. So I had a good night and had some breakfast, and now we're ready to hit the road. Looks like our fire is dead out, and we're on our way. Alright, I made a course because we're going back a different way. We're going to do the Lofty Lake loop and go past Camas Lake in the scout camp. So I used Explore on my phone, Garmin Explore, and I made a course, piece of cake. I saved that course, I synced it to my watch, and this morning I went and did a hike, and then I held down the menu for a second or two, and I went to navigate, and I went and found a course, and now my watch is ready for courses, and so we're going to use that to navigate our way back, and it'll tell us how long we got to go and such. So that's pretty cool.
There's Matt building a course so we can have it on his watch as well. We're talking less than 2 minutes to do the course and sync it back to the watch. So ready to go. Pretty good trail down from our camp, so we're kind of at this end of the lake here. So here's the main trail right here. So it's actually pretty easy to find. We're just past the beginning of the lake before we start heading down. This camp that we went to is right up here. Kind of nice. We're continuing our hike. We just had that into the lake. So that camp is pretty close, but just a little bit further from the beginning of the lake. Turned out to be a good camp, actually. But there's others, and we didn't even go around to the other side of the lake, really, where we saw other people camping. So stream that's coming out of Cuberant Lake, so it's running a little bit, not too strong, because the lake is quite down. Stream here below Cuberant Lake. It's got a nice little camp. And there's a rock wall over here. It's pretty right here. And we got little Lily Farm Lake right there after the camp. So we got Cuberant Lake number 1, I guess they call it. Right there. Big time. 4, let's see, 1, 2, 3, oh. Oh, shut down.
All right, here we go. After we saw that nice big buck, we're gonna start heading up now. This is the largest incline going back. The challenge with this backpacking trek is you got this 600-foot incline, but it's not stretched out over 3 miles. It's stretched out over a quarter mile. So it's a pretty good climb for an old man like me. But what a view. Okay, we've been on the top. It was a little level on the top, and now we're gonna be going back down. This is pretty steep, going back down again. Glad it's not raining and slippery, but you really have an incline and a decline on this part of the hike. And then the rest of it's a piece of cake. And we have those beautiful mountains right there, Baldy and the other one, I forget its name. And this is the Weber River Valley going down. Little marshy, got a few logs. I'm gonna come around here and find another trail over this way. We just finished that climb. I think it was like 600 plus feet, and we're up here. It's like a mile climb. I don't know if we're done with the mile yet. We might have some more. This is Camas Lake here. Yeah, here's a nice sign over here, Camas Lake. Got a couple signs here. All right, we're up here, way up here, above Camas Lake. So pretty. It looks like the air's getting moist. We'll be wearing our rain jackets before too long. We're on climb 2 of 2. And we're about to the top of that. And then it's downhill. Okay, we're leaving that area. Up here on top, almost to the top of this climb. Nice up here on top. Seeing a couple groups of day hikers in here. Coming from where we're going to. We got a lake down here. So Lofty Lake is right down below us. We got the trail, this is Pass Lake Trailhead going that way, 2.2. And then Cutthroat Lake, 0.2. So we're heading down here. There's a trail kind of goes up there for some reason. Not sure what goes up that way. But we're heading down this way here. All right. So let's head down. Okay, here we are coming down towards Cutthroat Lake, I believe. A little rocky in here. I went down Cutthroat instead of taking the top sign. The top sign said Lofty Lake, which is up this hill. I thought we'd already climbed all our altitude. I wasn't paying attention. So we went down a couple hundred feet. So we climbed back up. Now we're gonna head up here. All right, we're slowly making the climb. Here's what we're looking at. And we came from over this way. Accidentally went down that way. But we need to go up here. We're at 10,847. I think that's the high point of the hike right now. Can't remember how we were at Cuberant Lake, but we've made quite a climb on this loop, and now we're going to be going down the rest of the way. And we took that bad trail, I did anyway, and if I would have gone on my Onyx and got into 3D mode, it would have showed exactly where I needed to go. So I need to take advantage of the tools I have. I was just thinking I didn't want to go up anymore because I thought I was at the top of my climb, when in fact I wasn't at the top of my climb, and that made me want to go down when I was thinking that. But that just goes down to Cutthroat Lake, so we lost a couple hundred feet and had to turn around and come back up. Then we did our last climb on the Lofty Peak Trail, and now we're heading down. All right, here we are at Lofty Lake. We're gonna keep moving so we can get down before the day's over. Okay, maybe we reached the top now. Maybe it's downhill the rest of the way. Oh yeah, there's the other side of the Uintas here. Hayden Peak is right there. Coming over this mountain, there's Hayden Peak, and that must be Mirror Lake down there, maybe. I don't know. We'll look and see down here in just a second. Okay. Quite the climb out of there. Yeah, I think that's Mirror Lake right there. So Scout Lake's half a mile. Lofty Lake is back that way. Ruth Lake Trailhead. Huh. I need to do the Ruth Lake Trailhead and Ruth Lake 0.8. Okay, that's cool. So 1.6 miles to there. I've been there before. Just never come up this way. We'll keep heading down towards the Scout Lake that I thought was Mirror Lake, but it was Scout Lake. All right, we got a pretty good trail going down. We're going past, I guess this is Scout Lake, the old camp, Steiner Camp, Boy Scout camp. That's now a non-profit summer camp for people to participate in. Beautiful lake. Okay, past Lake Trailhead 0.6 miles, Scout Camp, and Ruth Lake Trailhead 0.5. All right, we're gonna keep on going. All right, we're within a half a mile, and we can hear trucks on the highway, Highway 150, logging trucks or stuff. But we're almost back. There's Bald Mountain right there. All right, we're to the end of our hike. The temperature's in the 60s. Looks like it might start raining here in a little bit. It's been the most pleasant hike as far as temperature. Matt's wearing sport shorts instead of his hiking pants unzipped. I'm wearing my old hiking pants and didn't unzip them. I sure could have. But this has been a great hike. It's been a tough hike. This is a kind of a rough trail. A lot of steep rocks and big rocks you have to kind of climb down over. But it's been a good hike out. And we got to see some lakes we've never seen before. Cuberant and Camas and Cutthroat and Scout Lake. So that's been kind of fun. Getting some new places today. And it's been cool for September. I think it's September 6th today. And the parking lot is absolutely packed compared to what it was when we got here yesterday. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll catch you again.